Hello and a warm welcome back to the channel of nonsense. Now I don't know if you're anything like me, but I grew up as a petrol head with one particular car brand on a pedestal above all others. Lotus. They championed lightness and just basic engineering to elicit fun driving thrills. Well, obviously times have changed like they have for the whole industry, and they're now producing electric SUVs alongside their sports cars. But anyway, I've not driven the Lotus in about 3 years, and the last thing I drove was the final edition of the Eletre, which kind of dates me. But today I'm at an industry testing day for journalists and influencers and knobs in bright coats, and I'm going to get the chance to drive the Eletre electric SUV and also the V6 Emira. And I'm just doing a quick video really to take you along for the ride and to show you where I think Lotus is at in 2024 and to find out if it's a good place. So yeah, let's get cracking. It's going to be a shorter video than usual, a bit rough around the edges as usual, but hopefully we'll make some interesting discoveries of a Lotus-y nature. And it's now making me think of those delicious Lotus Biscoff biscuits. If they've not got those in the car ready for me, they've missed a PR trick. Should we start out with the elephant in the room? I think we probably should. Yeah, if you'd told me that Lotus would be making SUVs, and electric SUVs especially, when I was 18 and playing Project Gotham Racing, I probably would have called you a mother rude names. Anyway, here it is, the Eletre. Lotus says this is an electric SUV of race car DNA. We'll see if that's true. Costs from £89,500. This is an S model, so it's £105,000. And then there's a very powerful R model, which is 120 grand. But yeah, look at it. It's big. It is big. It's about as discreet as a badger in a sausage factory. It is 5.1 meters long. That's longer than a Range Rover. And biggest elephant in the room, weighs 2.6 tons, which is heavy for an electric SUV. It's heavier than the first generation Audi e-tron, which was a bit of a porker. And obviously Lotus being known for lightweight stuff, that's interesting. It has got a big battery though, 108 kilowatt hours of usable battery. So it should do about 350 miles on a charge, but it's just not that efficient. But anyway, it's powerful. 610 horsepower, all-wheel drive. The R, which is over there somewhere, has got 905 horsepower. The R will do 3.1 to 60. This is a little bit slower. But yeah, you can get these with lots of clever chassis stuff being a Lotus. You can get it with four-wheel steering on the R, active anti-roll bars. This one has just got air springs and adaptive dampers. But it's big. It is really big. But the cabin is the biggest surprise for me. Ignore my stuff there. There's lots of interesting cloth with gold flecks in it, and your rear seat passengers get a little screen down there. It's so much more high-tech than I ever imagined a Lotus could be. The KEF speaker system is phenomenally powerful, but also very beautiful. Everything's got carbon fibre and little delicate touches there in Alcantara. It does look, oh, hang on. Look at that. You've got a little hidden Pioneer since 1948 thing on the B-pillar there. That's quite cool. Got a very thin rimmed, well, compared to modern standards, that is thinner than most rims I've been gripping lately. Got leather-lined door bins. This one has been spec'd with cameras for mirrors. You can spec it with proper mirrors. You've got a thin little screen here for your speed. You can adjust the drive modes using the paddle. Steering wheel is lovely. Got a 15-inch infotainment system here. This isn't a full review, but it's not the quickest to respond, but it is very well developed and very pretty. It doesn't feel like it's been thrown together by Lotus's parent company. It actually does feel very nice. Wireless phone charger, some bits and pieces here, storage here. The long and short of it is it feels incredibly high-tech in here and just very lovely. Although it does feel very much designed not for a British market. It's very, very chintzy and very bling. But anyway, that's a quick whistle stop tour of the Eletre's cabin. I'm going to hit the road, take it for a drive and see if it feels like a Lotus. Right, we're going to go for a drive in the Eletre. Put your foot on the brake, put it back into D. Should point out that the key is this satisfyingly heavy but quite small triangle. But whatever, let's go and see how Lotus-y it actually feels. Got to escape Thruxton first. Now I can tell you straight off that it doesn't feel massively Lotus-y because I fitted it for a start. The last things, as I said, I drove an Elise and Exige, and at 6'3", I really don't fit in these cars. Obviously being a 5-litre SUV, I stood a fairly good chance of not turning my scalp into Tim Jam. But anyway, oh, she's going to be talking to me now. How quickly can I turn her off? End trip. There we go, right. Automatic speed alarm off, there we go. That took me about 5 seconds to turn off the annoying Euro 5, whatever is bonging, the European bonging of joy. Right, is it quick? 600 horsepower. Yeah, this one is quick. It's not the R model, as I've said, but it is rapid. And actually, even though I'm in sport mode, it is incredibly silent, apart from the intense bonging of all the assist systems telling me I'm about to crash into the back of whatever that is in front. It is, oh yeah, that you can actually feel the chassis moving around a bit. That's quite interesting. I didn't expect that. Yeah, oh, blimey, it is very fast. It is very punchy in the mid-range. And yeah, it's just, does sort of feel like just a well-sorted EV. The steering isn't giving you like oodles of Lotus-y feedback or anything like that. But I think that's the problem Lotus is facing. All the stuff that we used to like about Lotuses, Loti, the steering feel, the feedback through the chassis, for most people, that's annoying. That's NVH. That's stuff that you want to filter out of the car. And they have filtered it all out of this. Like if I close my eyes, I could be in just any other very nice high-end luxury EV. And I think perhaps that's the biggest thing about this car that's impressed me the most so far, is just how posh it feels. It is a really posh feeling thing. Now, I'm just doing a short drive, so I can't talk about efficiency or range really. It's saying I've got 75% battery, 230 miles of range, which doesn't seem great. And I remember Harry Metcalf doing a video of this car, and that was his biggest disappointment, which is how inefficient it is, because it weighs 2.6 tons. I mean, genuinely, there are lighter boats in the ocean than this. It does feel a bit, you know, that's old EV weights. We should have lighter ones now. But yeah, through a sequence of bends here, yeah, I'm a little bit aware of that weight. It's gripping very well, and the steering's going where I want it to go, but I'm having to put my trust in it. That's not very Lotus. Normally, a Lotus is writing you a love letter saying, you can trust me, I'm never going to leave you, I'm going to be here when you come back from your war on commuting, it's going to be okay. This one, I don't quite trust as much. That was interesting. I just booted it there and the back snaked out slightly under power. That is exciting, but gee, yeah, it's fast enough that it gets to 60, doesn't slow down at all. I think this would go on to very, very big speeds very easily. Yeah, fast, not desperately tactile. I was perhaps expecting a little bit more something Lotus-y about it. The steering is fast, and when you turn it, it kind of controls the mass well when you turn it in, but it's still a big heavy car. Now, I'm not going to have enough time in this car to really tell you if it's going to compete with other equally priced EVs, but I don't know. Do you know where your nearest Lotus dealer is? Would you be going there for an electric SUV? Hopefully, because this feels very nice and very luxurious, as I keep saying. It feels like almost Bentley levels of luxury in here. I do just slightly worry that the normal person on the street that's going to be buying an electric SUV is going to know what this car is or what it can do. The adaptive dampers are actually quite good. I've got it in tour mode now and it is noticeably smoothed off. But again, you sense the weight. So over those bumps, those potholes back there, it was transmitting them to my bum. A bit like an Enigma machine of German anal pleasure or something. Anyway. Yeah, you can feel the back. Yeah, you can feel it's rear biased out there. That's quite cool. It is hammering it down now. So yes, this wouldn't be I'm driving my Elise very fast weather. And in this, you've got the reassurance of four-wheel drive and all the grown-up safety stuff. It's good. It is good. But really, it all hinges on whether people will buy an electric Lotus, whether Joe Public will buy it in big enough numbers to keep the company going, and whether, really, you could cope with the range and efficiency of it. Wow, lovely view. You can feel it shuffling the power around when you floor it in the wet. Ooh, it does feel heavy on the brakes. It does feel heavy on the brakes. Yeah. Lotus, I think you've made quite a nice electric SUV, but you've made it too heavy. Sorry. Something, something, Colin Chapman, something, rolling in grave, something, something. I'm smiling though. Interesting. Right, Emira time. Right, so the Eletre, big, heavy electric SUV. Time to switch over to the Emira manual V6, one of the last manuals Lotus will ever make apparently. Let's find out what it's all about. I mean, this is slightly giving me tingly feelings where I've not had them for a while. Just the colour of it, look at it. It is lovely to see a new shape Lotus sports car. I know it's been out for a few years, but this is my first time in it. So the Emira, obviously you can get this as an inline-4 with the Mercedes engine and automatic gearbox, or you can get this V6. This is the V6 and it now costs £86,000. I remember when this first came out, it was announced it was going to be a 60 grand car, so we're already talking about 20 grand's worth of inflation. But yeah, it weighs 1.45 tons. I love it in this spec. I love the yellow calipers there. It's a grubby day, so the drive's not going to be especially fast. But yeah, I just always loved this recipe. The last Lotus I drove, that final edition Exige, had the 3.5 V6, same as this. So yeah, 3.5 litre Toyota V6 with an Edelbrock supercharger. Here it's got 400 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds, 180 miles an hour, flat out. The biggest difference, obviously, oh, hello, first edition, is the cabin. Excuse all of my camera stuff, but look, you've got an infotainment system. You've got very sensible climate controls, some physical buttons, start, stop button, and still got quite wide sills, I have to say, but you've got electrically adjustable seats, which is crazy on a Lotus, and you've got a half-width gloves box. Yeah, a lovely, delicate, thin-rimmed steering wheel with controls for the digital dashboard. Look, you've even got some storage under here with USB-C and a USB-A. This isn't a car review, but this has got hooks for coats, storage back there. This looks like a pretty good road trip car. This one's got the KEF sound system as well. But anyway, I'm going to jump in, rig up some GoPros, take you for a quick drive in the Emira to find out if this really is the last of the old breed of Lotuses. Lotus. Let's go. Right, let's go for a drive in the Emira V6 then. You start it by lifting up the red flap and pressing the button. It's already started. Now, there are a few little things about this which already I love, coming from that last drive in an Exige. First of which is I fit in the damn thing. It's not that hard to get into. Yeah, the sills are quite wide still, but look, I've got headroom. It's okay. I've got kind of shoulder room. I think if there were two of me in here, it might be a little bit cramped, but it is built for real life humans, this, which I love. And also, the steering wheel feels absolutely lovely. It'll be interesting to see how the steering feel is when we get out on the road and I can talk about nerdy stuff like that. But it feels like everything I wanted an Exige to feel like. I wanted an Exige, but with a few more mod cons, a bit more nice stuff. So everything's just nice, actually. Nice leather. It feels way more premium than an Exige, and it doesn't smell of glue, which is always a bonus from something for something from Hethel. It'd be interesting to see how that V6 sounds, because one of my favourite memories about that final edition Exige is the noise. It used to properly howl, and I can't see that noise getting through emissions regs and all the rest of it. So when I give this some stick in a minute, listen out, see if it sounds nice. But first impressions are, still feels like a Lotus. I've got a lovely hard brake pedal that's gives enough to let you modulate it. The gear shift is really nice. The clutch isn't too finicky, and I'm wearing my big clunky boots, and I've actually got room in the pedal box to change gear, which is marvelous. I was a bit worried that I wasn't going to be able to drive this because of my shoes, which is silly, but oh, interesting. Ooh. The V6 doesn't rev as high as I thought it would. Goes to about 6,000 RPM, and then you slam into a limiter. So it hasn't actually got the wail that I used to get in that Exige, which is a bit of a shame. I think I'm going to feel like I'm short shifting a little bit in this car, but anyway. And it is soaking wet, so I won't be going too mad. So you get the start of a great noise, and then you have to change gear. Right, instantly very Lotusy. The cabin is very noisy. You might be struggling to hear me. I'm doing 60 miles an hour down a reasonably bumpy country road, and yeah, coming from the Eletre, this feels like I'm sitting in a box of horny skeletons. It's a bit road noisy. Nothing's rattling. It feels very solid, but you feel connected to the road. Gear shift is lovely. There you go. Look, doing 60 miles an hour in top, and it's just over 2,000 RPM. So again, you get the nice sensation of being in a light car with a big, torquey engine, and I've got the electronics to look after me, so I'm not too terrified of standing water today. You've got a nice slug of torque. Struggling to heel and toe my shifts in my boots. Around here, oh gosh, yeah, okay. Gonna slow down. It's very cold front tyres, but I can actually sense that I've got cold front tyres. It wasn't, it was understeering a bit. I don't want to be the person that bins the Emira on this very, very wet road. So what I'm trying to say there, it's communicating, it's telling me what it's doing, and it's still, you can tell, a car you have to respect a bit. I think it's quick. It is quick, but it's not pushed you back in your seat quick. It's an interesting thing. It's like an Exige that's had the edges sanded off it. It's no longer quite as thrilling, I don't think, and it's no longer in your face, uncomfortable either. So it's, yeah, a compromise car, I would call this, but it is, for a Lotus, beautifully appointed. And I love that you can see the throttle cable and the throttle body moving in the mirror when you accelerate. Look at the road, look at the road. I think I expected more of a V6 yow from this than I'm currently getting, which then raises the question of, should you get the 4-cylinder one instead? I don't know, because I've not driven it. There's another Emira, hello, a purple one. Yeah, I'm currently in tour mode. I wonder if sport mode will sharpen things up or just put me in a ditch. I don't want to put it in track mode because that turns things off and I'm not a hero. There we go, got the heel and towing down. A V6 Lotus is still a great thing. It's a lot of money now, isn't it? 80 odd grand. It does feel like an 80 odd grand car, but it's now competing against 6-cylinder Boxsters and Caymans. And I would say, I don't know, they give me a bit more confidence and a bit more luxury, and actually a better noise than this Lotus. So I think if it was me right here, right now, I'd probably be heading to my Porsche dealership, which is a shame to say that, because I don't want to sound like a shill, but yeah, hello again. Just seeing Emiras everywhere. So, to sum up the whole video, I think Lotus is in an interesting place right now, but it's, I don't know, I don't see many Eletres about on the road, and that's obviously the car that's going to save them in terms of profitability and fleet emissions and everything else. I see a few of these about, but now having driven it, I've got slightly less lust for it than I did just looking at it, which is a real shame. It needs more of a howl, I think. It needs more engine noise, and that's funny because Lotus has normally been a deafening thing. I think they've possibly taken it too far and softening it off. I like it a lot, and there are a few other modern cars with this level of steering feedback and kind of messages coming from the chassis. It does feel like this is 8/10 of the way to being brilliant. But anyway, Lotus at the moment, you are a bit mad. You're like an old lady that can't decide what to do. Do you want to, I don't know, cook some kippers? Do you want to do your Sudoku? Or do you want to take your bra off and run around the garden shouting at pigeons? You're doing lots of different things. And I don't know if you want to be a sports car company or an electric SUV company that's perhaps going to be around for a bit longer. I don't know. Anyway, it's been an interesting day. Hopefully it's been an interesting video, and you can come and draw some of your own opinions from it. Thank you for watching. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel, go down to the comments and leave me the Norfolk word for howling pig. Goodbye. I thought that's a really big car going the other way. I thought it was one of those big new Kias. It was a Picanto. Again, Lotus things. You're sitting on the floor, you feel very small. Yeah, I wonder if this feels more like an Evora replacement than a car that should have replaced the Elise and Exige. I'm not sure.